Yeah. The link in the Discord already? No, I'm saying it now. I was just finishing saying. Oh, okay. I thought my editor was tripping or something. You know, it was my first day in the job, trying to make sure everything's straight. You feel me? So when you said 15 minutes, I waited for 15 minutes, then it comes on like, oh shit, my internet. You feel me? I'm just waiting for the link then. Yep. Yeah.
Digging inside of this down close candle, and we also revisited this imbalance. So we have this on Dow, and then if you take mean threshold of the order block, okay, that red line, that's midpoint, up close or down close candle. For bullish, you want to see us stay in the upper portion, the bodies stopping right at mean threshold. So it's kind of an overlap with the imbalance. You have mean threshold of the order block. So want to see if Dow can work higher from here in the next couple of days. Preferably keep this low intact. And let me make sure I'm recording this. All right, let's take a look at S&P. ES, fair value gap, bullish order block, opening price hits it there. Still looks strong after reaching our first standard deviation target. The next one for S&P. Still got a ways to go. As long as dollar looks bearish, I don't think that's unreasonable. And NASDAQ, our daily negative 0.5 standard deviation. NASDAQ has been a stronger market out of the three. And again, I'm just taking projections from that low up to this high. And you should get that price level right there. So we had this as a draw. We got that here. Then we had a nice sell-off day, capitalize on shorts. This is my next draw for NASDAQ. And let me see, that's about 400 handles away. It's nothing too crazy. I'm not saying to get that today, but we can see that before the end of the week. All right, drop down to a 15-minute chart. We got about 3 minutes till the open. So this was previous all-time highs. Ran up into that at around 8 o'clock. Midnight opening price way down.
My check.
Right away. Whenever I see this, we haven't had any meaningful run on sell side since 12 o'clock yesterday. It's just been higher lows, relative equal lows, higher lows, relative equal lows, higher low, higher low. So all of this that they got going on is a little too smooth.
My check, my check, my check. Hey, question. If you're in the Zoom, I mean in the Discord, can you write yes if you hear me well? Do you hear me well? I feel like this shit sounds low. Yeah. 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 We can hear you, but it's echoing real bad. Yeah, it's because I'm what about now though? Talking to the mic? I'm talking to the mic. No, it's not low. You good. It's good right now? I can't hear you. I can't hear you saying that. Hold on. Wait, because I'm not on live. All right, go ahead. My check. Yeah, you good. It's because when I have Tremaine on, so how about that look?
At the gate, I'm not interested in buying. It doesn't concern me. It could rally all the way up to our daily target.
You hear me and Tremaine at the same time?
I'm not interested in being a buyer.
At the same time? Yeah. Start to write down a little bit though. So yeah. People are louder. All right then. Mm-hmm.
It would have to at least trade down, trailing. And I don't want to be a part of that group. All right. We'll take this old target off on ES. S&P has really clean relative equal highs. There. Dow has a breaker in here. We have a high, low, higher high. Just observe that range in price on Dow. Last down close candle here, using the body. See if it trades to that, trades through it. That'll get some insight on Dow. And I want to see if dollar index can roll over, get back into the lower portion of that daily fair value gap. And on dollar index, that's this fair value gap on dollar. I want to see if it can gravitate lower. I'm going to kind of keep a broad view of price. So we're in all-time high territory. Not interested in predicting a top, which means not interested in trying to short it right away. I will short if I feel like there's something obvious on the chart, but I'm more or less just waiting for 10 o'clock to see what that does. That's the buy side. And that breaker.
I closed the camera.
Oh, thank you.
So right now we're above both midnight and 8:30 open. So we're in a rich premium. NASDAQ, relative equal highs, buy side, S&P, Dow doing its own thing per usual. Compound Life, good morning. Good morning, Walter. Gulf Coast, Bama. What's up, Jay? 10 o'clock news. Dre, what's going on? Still got just shy of 30 minutes, so got some time to chill. Back from vacation on a cruise. That's what's up. What cruise you went on? Arterius, what's up? Patel, what's going on? Asia ATM used to hit twice a week. Started hitting all-time highs. Now it's like one a week. Yeah, it's just super bullish. Tearing off in one direction. Carnival to Cozumel was in your hood for a bit. Oh, because that's the Galveston port, right? That's where y'all take off from. Because we went on the same one. Was it the 7-day? NASDAQ just pressing into all-time highs. S&P almost reaching those relative equal highs. Oh, and nighttime scuba diving, Cosmo. He said it was beautiful. Nighttime scuba diving. That does sound fun. Mexico is beautiful. 5-day one. I feel like the 5 day is perfect. Because me and Rachel, when we went on the 7-day one. And around day 4, day 5, we're like, okay, it's kind of getting repetitive. Like we're ready to start heading back. Like being out there for a whole week. It's pretty long, but it was fun. That's pretty cool though. Didn't want to be stuck on something. First time, that was lit. That's cool. Did you get seasick? It was weird. I was hoping I got seasick on the cruise because that was my first one, and I wanted to know what it felt like, but I felt the same. Rachel had it bad though. Her head was hurting and she was getting dizzy. 3 or 4 days, that's all you need. Because it's like by the 4th day, maybe the 5th day, if you've been casual with it, like you've already experienced everything the cruise has to offer. You've been to the comedy shows, you've been to the night shows and the little events and stuff they be having. You know, you've had most of the food already, so you're kind of like, okay, now it's getting repetitive. Yeah, because like everybody be talking about like getting seasick. I wanted to experience it. Didn't happen. Much pizza and drinking, that's it. Sleeping, waking up, eating, going back to sleep. Didn't get seasick, the waves got bad. I liked it. Like the way like the bed was like shifting, or like sometimes like you'll be walking in the hallway and then like you'll kind of get knocked off balance a little bit because of the waves. It was cool. So Dow is breaking lower. S&P looks like it may want to reach for its buy side. And NASDAQ is the strongest. So it's a little decoupled. Dow tearing lower, NASDAQ ripping into new all-time high territory. And S&P may want to reach for 7,275. Took you a week to get balanced. That's crazy. That's crazy. Yeah, cruises are fun. I want to go on another one. I want to go on one with no kids though. There's a lot of kids on our cruise, which is fine, but like they'll run around in the hallways making noise and stuff. And then there's like all in the pool. We got to go on like 18 and up cruise, 21 and up. They have some, I forgot what they're called. So still waiting. Got exactly 20 minutes till our high impact news driver. If we take a look at regular trading hours, so far it's just been gap higher and higher. So not interested in anything as far as a continuation. Adult cruises are out here. Get ready to see some stuff you can't unsee. Makes sense. Makes sense. You put a bunch of 21 and up people on a cruise ship in the middle of nowhere, you bound to see something crazy. Nah, chill. I'm good. I'm good. I'm down with all that. Hey, go get your money's worth. Ain't nothing wrong with a little razzle dazzle, you know. Very decoupled. Dow still heavy. NASDAQ and ES reaching for higher targets. Take a look at dollar. I want to see dollar reach for the sell side here. And then possibly a lower quadrant of that daily fair value gap. This is that daily fair value gap on Dow.
So unfortunately, like I was saying yesterday, I wanted these targets up here, all of these targets, all of the liquidity zones, all of this here, here, here. I wanted it to be not swept and saved for right now. But you see, we already ran that pre-market. You see, by 8:30, we was already above it. So now, basically, I had to find new levels, basically. And the only play that it was this play right here, but I saw it too late. And then there's no real liquidity for me at the top. So that's why I didn't really take it. The more so because I kind of missed it late. So you see how we got a SMT, ES, and NQ. So you see how NQ took out this low. But if you look to the left, ES never took out this low. So it created an SMT. And then we got a bullish breaker, low, high, lower, low, high, high. And it's coupled with this change in the state. And this fair value gap right here. So I missed that play. And when it was right here, I was thinking about jumping in because I saw it when it came down like right here. So it still would have been a good play. But like I said, I wasn't targeting. I don't have no liquidity up here. So I didn't know what I was targeting. So for me, it was kind of like a low probability trade. So that's why I didn't want to like just jump in.
Stop loss can be above mean threshold of that. Your entry could be inside of here. But obviously that's outside of the time window that I really like to trade. But London closed macro delivered pretty nice yesterday. NASDAQ is tearing higher. Oh yeah, and the precision at the midnight open, like it was just beautiful. The morning session, like all of this back and forth in here, in my opinion, was we sat through that yesterday, and it was not even worth the time of day, in my opinion. But midnight opening price, right there, and look at the bodies. That's pretty. She is strong today. I made my first $12,000 a month in payouts last month. Went on a bit of a tilt last week and ended up blowing my accounts. I feel like now my standards are high. Now, what's your best advice? I feel like my standards are high now. What's your best advice? It depends on how you made that 12,000. Did you make it with managed risk over time, slow and steady exponential growth, like equity curve was smooth and steady, or did you make that payout from a couple of trades? Maybe they're over leveraged. So was it luck, or is it just skill, time, and compounding? If your risk was managed and you got payouts through actually growing the account the right way, then I think it's fine to have high standards for yourself. There's nothing wrong with that, but you have to be real with yourself. If you did the opposite and you got payouts from being reckless, then you have to be honest with yourself and call it luck, and then work on your discipline and your emotions and all that stuff. Probably take a break from the fundeds. Don't put money into another eval. Just give yourself at least a week to go over your mistakes, come down a little bit, smooth and steady. Then yeah, if you grew your account smooth and steady, then you just have to work on your mental. But I like when people say like they blew their funded account, like you have to understand, and you didn't blowing an account means you took it to zero. So if a prop firm company says, oh, if you lose 6%, we take your account away from you, you didn't blow your account. You just drew down 6%. 6%, bro. You can make that in 2 trades. Like that's not like people, the prop firm industry is getting people like they're stressing themselves out because no, like I hit my 2% daily loss. 2% is nothing, but because it's in the realm of a prop firm system, 2%, 6% feels like dangerous. You didn't blow your account. You just drew down 6% or however much the threshold is. Like in my personal account, I drew down 6%, maybe even more, plenty of times, and still came back for it. You can't do that in a prop account. So stop saying you blew your account. You didn't blow your account. You just drew down 6%. Blowing your account is taking it from $50,000 initial balance to $0 or less. Like 6% drawdown is nothing. 1%, 3-to-1 risk reward trades. Get a couple of those. Factor in some losses if you want. You can make that drawdown back in 2 trades. Obviously, if you go 2-0, but throw in some losses in there. Just say you can make those losses back within 5 trades. Couple of losses, couple of wins. 6% is nothing. That's why prop firms, like people ask, like, why don't you trade prop firms? If I needed, like if I was still working and I needed to fund my account, I would go prop firms route. But the moment I have enough equity to like sustain myself or, you know, at least compound it enough, like I would leave the prop firms because they're placing a mental, we have 10 minutes till news, but they're placing like this illusion that if you lose 2% or if you lose 6%, like you blew the account, you did something terrible. You had normal drawdown as a trader. 6%, 4%, 2%, that's all normal. And that's not hard to recoup. But because these people are charging money and they're placing strict rules on you, they convince you that if you lose 6%, you lost everything. And that's just not the case. And traders get in their heads about it. Like, I blew my account. You didn't blow account. If you didn't take the account to 0, you didn't blow your account. It takes a real bad trader to take your account all the way to 0, or a geopolitical event that you're on the wrong side of, and then, you know, that's always a risk. That's why ICT says, like, when you get a funded account of like $50,000, you don't have $50,000 to work with. You have whatever your drawdown is. So if the funded company says you can't lose more than $5,000 or we'll take your account away, what account size do you really have? $5,000. Because he's saying that because you're whatever 100% of equity you have, that's what you have. So if you can only lose $5,000 before they take your account away, then you only trade with the leverage as if you have $5,000, regardless if it says 50,000 in your dashboard. You're not afforded the chance to lose all 50,000. They take your account away if you lose 5,000. So you trade your funded account as if you only had 5,000. That's why he says micros. And then when you grow your account, you add another micro. But a lot of people don't think about it that way. So there's the S&P. The relative equal highs here. NASDAQ has nothing to the left. It's an all-time high territory. So it's just a matter of how high does NASDAQ want to go. Only thing that I can see is we have this breaker pattern. If we could trade down into that, if you look at this like on a 15-minute chart or hourly chart, you may see something cleaner, but I can see the breaker formation here inside of this swing high. But as far as targeting, I like how ICT mentions it like remember, this is, think of this like a door hinge when you're doing your projections higher. When you're doing your projections higher, just imagine this whole thing, this whole little segment here, just mirror it, just flip it upwards, as if you're grabbing this piece at the bottom and then flipping it over the top and get your projections. That's all I have for targeting to the upside, because We're in all-time highs. So negative 0.5 standard deviation. And put those three on. They need a uncheck all button on this. All right, put this one off too. So all those targets are just projections, taking this from this high to this drop down, projecting that higher. And then we have our daily target up here, which I would be surprised if it reaches out for that today, actually. That'd be impressive. Look at YM. I see it. I got down the bottom right. If I have a great account management, can I say screw funded? Start with a $2,500 account. If you have the skill, yeah. You could trade a micro or two with a $2,500 account. I wouldn't recommend anything much less than that, especially with the volatility. You go on a 3-4 trade losing streak with a couple micros on a $2,000 account. You know, it can get ugly, but I think shorting YM might be better. If that's what you feel, go for it. I don't trade Dow, and I think it's heading towards 49,360, below that breaker. But anything could change in 5 minutes when we get our high impact news driver. Going short here, what do you think? If you feel like that's your trade, go for it. I'm not here to tell you to get into a trade or not get into a trade. It just speaks to you, and if it's your model, do what you feel like is best for your account. I'm sitting still though. I think I like the little series you did where you trade a 10K account. I'm thinking of something like that next year. Next year, I'm thinking of doing like it's going to be private though. And then I'm going to share it like later. But I'm going to do, because I want like basically a full year of trading where I'm trying to make very, very little, like 6% a month, 5% a month. And I'm going to use that as a track record. I don't know if I want to trade for like a company or a proprietary firm. Like if I want to trade, for another business or take on clients or something, I don't know. I'm still young. There's a lot of things I can do. I still haven't wrote out the idea of getting my license, being able to trade for other people. But before I even think about that, like I want to have a track record in history. So next year, I'm thinking of doing just like a ongoing video series where like each week, here's the trades I took, here's the wins, here's the losses, here's the broker statement. Next week, here's the trades I took, here's the wins, here's the losses, here's the broker statement. End of the month, here's the amount of trades, here's the amount of losses, here's the P&L for the month, here's the broker statement. And then keep that going January through December. And then, but I'm going to upload that like on a private YouTube channel where like nobody can view it because I don't need the pressure of people keeping up with what I'm doing. But then after the year's over, like I'll have that as a track record. So anybody who is thinking about becoming one of my clients, or if I join a firm and they want to see a track record or history, I could just send them the link to my other YouTube channel and be like, I've documented my entire 2026 trading. You can see my periods of drawdown. You can see my risk management. I show the broker statements at the end of the video. You can see the return each month, and then they shouldn't have to ask for anything more. So that's something I'm looking forward to next year. And then should I do something where I'm managing funds for other people? You know, you can't deny a full year's documentation with broker statements and trade footage, all that good stuff. I think you traded one micro, was it one mini? I think I started with a handful of micros and then I worked my way up to like a mini. I can't remember. That wasn't even like intended to be a series. I opened that account, 10 o'clock news is here. I opened that account just like as an account on the side. I think it's because the market environments were a little harder. And I was like, let me throw like a couple thousand in here just so I can like have a separate account other than my main. And then like it just slowly turned into a thing where I grew it to 10,000, but that was not what I was really trying to do. All right, so 10 o'clock news, S&P cleared out buy side. The Dow looks like it may want to reach up to its breaker still. I'm not interested in jumping the gun and immediately getting short in NASDAQ. I would have to see a lot of quote unquote confirmation in NASDAQ for me to trust anything going lower, especially since it's still early in the morning. Now, if it's like yesterday and we're closer to like 11 o'clock, when you can expect a retracement or reversal and the volatility from the morning session kind of starts fizzling out, I'll be a little bit more comfortable in shorting. But right now, we still have the bulk of the morning session left to go. And like the daily candles looking like this, I'm not too quick to try to short and say, yep, that's the high. That's the high, we're going lower. So I would have to see a lot. Let's see what S&P could reach for on the upside. Should it want to continue expanding higher? All of this is high resistance. All this back and forth. We have our current new week opening gap high. We already tagged that there. You have a cat? Yeah, it's Rachel's cat. Our cat, I guess. Probably one of the new members. She never like gets up from the windowsill this early. So I don't know if she has to go to the bathroom or what. Normally she just chills with me in the office. And then right when I like wrap up the live stream, she knows like it's almost time to eat. And then she'll jump off the windowsill and get ready for her meal. Who does she gravitate to more? She sleeps on Rachel's side of the bed because I'm allergic to cats. It's nowhere near as bad as it used to be. Like I feel like I'm almost not allergic unless like I get like a lot of cat hair on me. But like she has her own little cat blanket and she sleeps like cuddles right next to Rachel's stomach. So I feel like at night she definitely favors Rachel more. But I spend more time with her because Rachel's at work and I work from home, so I'm home most of the day. So during the day, she favors me, especially when it's time to eat. She'll follow me around. She only looks at me for food, I'll be honest. She don't like me for real. She knows I'm the one who feeds her, so she just act like she like me. But definitely, she's more emotionally drawn to Rachel, I feel like. But then she acts up more when Rachel's around. Like whenever I'm around, she don't act up. Like she don't try to get into anything. Like she behaves. But the moment I'm cutting the grass in the back or something, I peek through the window, through the kitchen. Rachel's yelling at the cat. She's acting up. She's trying to. I'm just like, it's crazy. We keep her from because like we have stairs in our home, and the cat likes to go upstairs and walk on the rail, and that's like what close to a 15-foot drop from the stairs. So it's like if that cat falls 15 feet, and I know they're good landers, but that cat falls 15 feet on these hard tile floors, I don't think it's gonna be pretty. So it's like, and she knows if I'm in here, if I'm downstairs or I'm in the living room, she just never goes on the rail. But the moment I go take a shower or I'm in another room and it's just Rachel watching her, all I hear is, Callie, get down, no. And then I come back out to see what's going on, and then she jumps off. Like she's smart. She picks and chooses who she wants to act bad around. Have you ever had problems with anger after a loss? How did you deal with it? Anger is a strong word. I would say like intense frustration. Not like at this point in my training career, but like back when I was trying to make this thing work for me. Yeah, like I hated losing, but it was more like a frustration, not like anger. It was just a real intense frustration of like, what am I doing wrong? Why the heck is this not working for me? And what do I need to fix? But I channeled that into like a passion. Like I channeled it into positive energy. I just studied harder, studied more. Every loss just motivated me more to improve and figure out what it is I need to do better. Maybe I might jump off our apartment balcony to neighborhood fence.
That shit ain't going nowhere.
I can't, bro.
It ain't going nowhere, dog. And I missed that play. It was kind of a low probability, not really low, maybe like I'll say this play down here was more like a B minus play because there's no liquidity, right? I would have been gambling for me. I'm trying like not to gamble, right? But I definitely wanted to take this shit, but it's okay. So hopefully it could come back down. Hopefully that bit could come. Hopefully it could stop going up and come down, right? Hopefully into, we got so many we have so many 5-minute fair value gaps. Like we literally have we literally have 3 5-minute fair value gaps in this leg right here. So there's no telling which one of these holes could stop at. So if it comes down, because these are double lows right here. So if it comes down, stop here, maybe go higher. Or if it comes down to this zone right here, we get a sweep of these double lows right here. These lows are real equal, right? You could catch a long maybe somewhere and get into that zone, or if it come into this zone. But if it just keep on going up and up and up, and it does like some type of shallow sweep, like sweeps this and goes back higher, it's still not enough for me. So hopefully the guru could give us some insight.
Breaker as a draw. And that's from this pattern here. So we've had the buy side taken here. And this will be a little bit more easier to visualize it this way.
If I go to a 5-minute, this is a 5-minute screen. As you see, fair value gap, fair value gap, fair value gap. It used this one to go up. So let me just draw that one. So, because this is a 5-minute, we're above it. See how it came into it, used it, came into it again, used it. Once we get below it, I want to see this zone get used as an inverse, right? Close below, retest, possibly take us lower, hopefully below the 8:30 midnight. Below the midnight. 8:30 midnight is way down here. So I'm not expecting it to come way down there, right? So into one of these key zones to go higher. But it all starts with this 5-minute inverse right here. Do we have a volume imbalance? No volume imbalance. So when you don't have a volume imbalance, you do not have to draw the volume imbalance. When you have one, you got to actually implement it into the chart. So this is a 5-minute chart that we're going to stay at right here. So like I said, once we get below this 5-minute, I want to see it hold as an inverse and take us to these key zones. Either this one, get some bullish order flow, or if not, get below the midnight, sweeping out these double lows right here into this blue key zone to go up higher.
Be within striking distance. Like we talked about yesterday, speed underneath the short-term lows, fair value gap staying open. Want to see it reach for this. Volume imbalance in here. Something to watch. Bearish breaker on Dow. S&P just fell short of its buy side. NASDAQ 15-minute chart. We have a buy side imbalance, sell side inefficiency. And I'm keeping an eye on all the other indices. Dow's at a potential level of resistance, that breaker. S&P is expanded beyond its buy side. It's already cleaned that up. And NASDAQ is in all-time high territory. So the only way I trust shorts is if all the other indices, S&P and Dow, look heavy, and NASDAQ gets a meaningful shift in market structure. Really, I'm looking at, let me do this. Midpoint of that 15-minute imbalance comes in at 32 and a quarter. If we can eat through that, 32 and a quarter. But as long as we're above that, I need to see more in NASDAQ. Not interested in, NASDAQ has to show me that it wants to get through the lower half of that 15-minute fair value gap. Because if it's bullish, it can trade down into that upper half. It can respect this and still take us higher. But if we trade through it, disrespect it, especially if we close beneath that price level in the next 13 minutes or so, then that's the only thing that gets me interested in lower prices. As long as it's still in the upper half of this inefficiency, I'm just seeing that as offering a discount. So I'm observing that price level. We can take that down to a 5-minute chart and watch how we're delivering.
Order filled.
Let's change this to a different color. The exact low of that candlestick is midpoint of that 15-minute imbalance. So showing sensitivity, which is not what I want to see. So I wait.
Stop filled.
And I actually favor a long. I think that entices a lot of people to get short and they ran out sell side. If we can get above this and use that as an inversion fair value gap. Because I like how they took it beneath there. That 5-minute volume imbalance. Speed is picking up. Shift these to a 1 minute chart. That's nice and down. So I'm not getting sucked into all of this fast movement they're doing to the downside, because as long as we're in the upper half of that 15-minute fair value gap, I'm still expecting higher prices until we get beneath this price level and it's meaningful. Then at that point, that's convincing enough for me. But it can play around and do all kind of stuff in the upper half, this inefficiency. That's what I'm observing. I'm not against a potential long. If I do long, it's going to be with lower leverage. I like how we ran out sell side. These relative equal lows, they drop down aggressively, clearing that out. And I'm watching if we could get back above this SIBI. But I'll probably use reduced leverage, which I've kind of been doing all year already. But I'm looking at S&P and Dow, watching to see what they're doing. Let's clear this off for a second. Watching that, see how we treat it. Want to see now if I can get back above that SIBI, outlined in gray. And I have my eyes on that negative half standard deviation and then negative 0.75. Check on dollar. Dollar looks heavy, so I like that. Five, that's 10. 6 times 2 is 12. Five times 10, 50. I'm watching that. That's Sibby. Let's see. Yeah, Dow looks strong. S&P still looks strong. So here's Dow, ES. Looks like it may want to make a higher high. So we still have a heavy dollar index. Remember, I'm looking for that sell side in dollar. And we still have bullish indices. So I like the symmetry there. If it expands too far, that give me an entry, then I'll call it a day. You maybe look for something during lunch or just show up tomorrow. Let me see the economic calendar for tomorrow. I think we have FOMC tomorrow. No, we just had FOMC. I'm tripping. Tomorrow, medium impact news, 8:15. Oh, it's NFP week. That's what it is.
Dang, I had missed my entry, dog. I was being too patient, bro. But let's see if we get another entry right here if it comes into the bullish breaker. You got a low high, lower, low, higher high. Problem is it may not come into it. Damn, I missed my entry. I was being too patient, dog. I'm looking at it. So I was waiting on it to retest this zone right here, but I knew it wasn't going to retest because look at the order block right here. It got above it. But I didn't know. But I was speculating. Usually I would have gotten it right here. But it's cool. Something I just got to get better with. Good job, good job, good job, good job, good job. Great job, great job. Boy made 300 today. Good job.
I'm gonna sit tight a little bit in case they want to take this thing lower.
I'm gonna try
because the way I see it, they
come into the bullish break.
Trap both sides of the marketplace. The fact that they drop down into the relative equal lows, all the sell stops, and then take it higher, engaging all the buy stops right into negative half standard deviation.
If I get
trading
in
at all-time high territory, that's kind of like.
So if I get in now, that's early, right? But if I wait till it's come to the zone and then do the dawn, it'll be good. I gotta be patient because I missed the first one. But let's see, because when it's when it's extremely bullish, sometimes it don't go into the zone right away. Because like once we create this new change in the state, that shit could go. So that's why sometimes you gotta like not be too patient, but still be patient. And also, I was actually because when I thought I saw what I saw, so when Tremaine didn't go long, I was like, damn, he don't see the long right here. So it kind of made me like, okay, maybe he don't see it. So maybe if he don't see it, maybe I don't see it. Maybe I'm kind of wrong in a way. So I'm saying, so that's why sometimes actually listening to people also can mess you up, but it's great also. That's why it's important to you do what you think is right. Right? Because you copy somebody else trading and then it's wrong, you're gonna blame them when it's really yourself. You know what I'm saying? So yeah. So let's see if they come into this zone right here, stay in the upper half and start running away. That'd be the long. Because with this close right here, see how it closed right here? It left this bullish fair value gap right here, unmitigated. So that's what you want to see also. That's why the moment it created down close candle and it stopped right here, I was like, it may not come down. So that's where I wanted to get my long right here. But let's see if it give us a chance. The macro starts in about, what, 20 minutes. Let's see if it give us another chance. And hopefully ES don't sweep this high before it comes into this breaker.
Like the stage now by taking out traders here and taking out traders up here right into a level that we're watching. Assuming it doesn't just tear off and work higher for the rest of the morning. If they did wanted to take it lower, and if we wanted to see lower prices this morning, they did the exact scenario that would cause that. But if we don't get any sort of significant movement or anything soon, then I'll probably just call it a day because it's already past 10:30. So I'll give it like 10 more minutes max. But still keeping an eye on Dow and still keeping an eye on S&P. Dow still respecting the low of its breaker, the lower half of it. And S&P just ran out its buy side up here.
All right, it's coming into the zone. All right, it's in the zone.
Order filled.
All right, let's see. My stop loss is right below the zone. I'm only in one. It's like a little starter because I want to see how it actually reacts when it comes into the zone.
And it would have to get underneath the swing low for me to feel comfortable in anything short. So if it doesn't do that within the next 10 minutes or so, I'm just going to call it.
I would love to see it create a change in the state, close above this zone right here. It can still come back in because it kind of gave it like a baby touch. We up about 18 points right now. Let's see if it comes back into the if it comes back into it again. That's a nice close. How much points are these? Damn. It's coming back down. It didn't. You see how it didn't close above that line? That's good.
Fit projection.
Look like it may come back into the breaker again. I'm gonna go into one more.
Order filled.
Only in one more. So now I'm only in 2 contracts. So I'm still low leverage. My stop loss is literally right below the zone. It hasn't came into the zone. It hasn't dug into the zone yet, right? A dug into the zone would be you should have it dug. It digs in, right? It's in. It only gave it one little small little touch. Sometimes when it's extremely bullish, like it's been, sometimes that's all it's gonna do. So I'm kind of like anticipating it off that first touch. So that's why I'm only in a low leverage, right? I'm only in 2 contracts because I'm waiting for it to see it expand for me to get my real entry in. And this is good. You see how it's consolidating, right? Because we may get the accumulation model, right? We may get the accumulation where it just goes back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. And then they're going to come lower, manipulating lower, hopefully staying above the zone, and then start going higher. It has to close above this high to create a change in the state. So it can't just rain for a while.
See you, Robert. Have a good one. Give NASDAQ till 1040 to do something meaningful, or else I'm gonna call it a day.
We know, Tremaine. We know.
I may look for something during lunch if it looks good.
All right, so we got to change the state out of it. Okay, so that's good. See, I want to see speed. See how we got no speed? I don't like that. And there's no liquidity up here. So it's like, so now it came back down. That's a sweep and displacing in the opposite direction. That's not what you want to see. Look like it may want to come back into the zone right here.
See you, Alex.
All right, here we go. Let's see how I come back to the zone.
Have a good one for those who are leaving.
I don't like how the swept gets high right here. I do not like that.
I'm loving this cloudy weather we're getting in Houston. It's supposed to rain for like the next 5 days.
Stop loss literally
We're
right.
just getting a whole bunch of cloudy, dark
Only
weather.
2 contracts. So I'm only using like what, like $80
outside the window.
But 2 contracts,
It's
60,
just
60. But it's only 17 points.
It's a slight breeze. It's cloudy.
So I'm only down what?
It
Like
says it's not going to rain today,
right,
but it's like it's perfect nap weather. Perfect weather.
So my target got hit, which was these highs. Well, not my target, but the high got hit. It just
Thursday.
I didn't get out.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
I didn't get out because I wanted to see speed past the highs. Because I was expecting it to go higher. Because there's no real liquidity up there. So you see how it's in the lower half? It needs to stop right here. It needs to stop right here.
Oh, forget it. Gorgeous weather ever.
Now it's in the lower
San
half.
Antonio, same weather. It's so nice. Like it's therapeutic.
Down $80.
Rachel's exact
All right, stop.
Order filled.
opposite. She
All right.
hates.
So you see what I mean?
Like that.
So you see what I mean, right? You see how that's why I got a starter, because you can't anticipate. Even though you got that, even though you got that first touch into it, which was right here, and it ran away, that's what you call it FOMO. Like I said, I kind of knew that it may come back in. That's why I only got a starter. That's why I only got 1 contract. Then I got the other contract when it was coming down, because I'm like, okay, it may not even come back. So I calculated that loss. That loss was okay for me. You see what I'm saying? So that's why you see, and then you see how it took those highs. That's what you want to see. I was actually going to just get out right here, but the fact that it came down, okay, maybe it can retest. But this is what I mean by being super patient. You see, I took those highs. Remember, you want to see a sweep and run away. It swept and it ran away in the opposite direction. Right? That's not what you want to see if you're bullish. So it's a reason why the mentor didn't jump into no play. You see what I'm saying? That's why it's not about taking the plays all the time. It's not about making money all the time. It's about learning how to do it for real. That's why I got into a starter pack. Look, I'm only down what? I'm only down $100. And I missed both of my trades. Missed this trade here because I was being patient. I wanted to read. I just was being. I was a little bit late on this play, and I was late, so I was late. I was being patient. I was being patient. So because I was late, I said, you know what? I'm gonna be more patient. If it come back to it again, I'm gonna jump in. And never came back into it. Cool. Let it run. Now the other play was this play right here. Marvelous play. We got a sweep. We got a sweep right here into this key zone. Now we have liquidity though. You see what I'm saying? It's different. It's a difference when you have liquidity up here. You have these two liquidity, relative highs, and ES were still at the other high from below that still had it above. So you got to sweep into the key zone. Look how it stays. Look how it stays in the upper half. So that's what you want to see, right? And look, you immediately look for the opposing fair value gap, which is right here. You want to see you as an inverse. So you want to wait for the close. Look how it didn't close at the top. Look at that. If I zoom in some more, look how it never closed. It never closed. And then it came all the way back down. So I'm watching it. Then look what happened. It closed up here. But because, look at the displacement. This is a nice displacement. So this is the order block right here. Look how it touched it to the T. So you have the most sensitive part of the order block, and then you have this down close candle, which is right here. This was my long right here. Right here, just for a little bit, because there's no liquidity. So I was being too patient on this one. I said, you know what? I'm just waiting for the bullish breaker. So because I was being too patient, this play, I'm like, you know what? I'm not gonna be as patient. So with this one touch, so you see, I waited. We finally got. So if you zoom in, look, it did not touch. It did not touch the blue zone. It did not touch that blue zone. And because I know sometimes that's all they need, it just needs like a small little touch sometimes. And then it ran up. I said, you know what, I'm gonna get to a starter one because I know it may dig into it for real. Because sometimes that's not enough. So that's why I only got into one, because I ain't wanna, that's the fear of missing out, the FOMO. I was in fear of missing out because the other two trades. But look what I did. I got smarter. I said, I'm only gonna get into one though. Because I can afford to do one contract, 2 contracts. I can afford to do 3 contracts. But once I start over leveraging, that's why I didn't over leverage. But that's why I get into my real amount of contracts. So now, as it's running, I say, you know what? It may still run. So what I did, I got into one more contract, which is another little FOMO. But it's only small. I'm only risking 17 points. So that's under $100. That's permissible. And then we come into it, then we get the real retest. That's why usually it always retests it. It's just sometimes you got to be patient and sometimes you got to know when it's not, right? Then look at this drop down. Look how it dug all into the lower half of this bullish breaker. That's not what you want to see. And then the fact that, not a bad thing. You see how I got into the play here, and then the liquidity is here. Another bad indicator. Look how it swept those highs, right? So it took out this liquidity, and then it came back down into the range. That's why I was like, oh, shit. I don't like that sweep right there. Because it swept out the liquidity. There's no reason to go up higher right now at the moment. Because it kind of did everything already. And we are all-time highs. There's not multiple liquidity. So that's the reason why I got into low leverage. And that's the reason why I was so patient from down here, because I'm working on patience right now. But anyways, so I basically took one trade and it gave me the liquidity, but ended up sucking me out. I should have put it to break even. I didn't even think about that because it was so low leverage. I was like, okay, whatever. I ain't gotta put it to break even because I still expected this zone to work. So now you see how it came up. That's why I don't take the breakers again. Once these breakers get disrespected, you see how it dug into the lower half? Look how it popped back up. But then look what happened. Now it's back down here. That's why I say you want to see it stay in the upper half, because once it starts losing that support in the upper half, you don't know what the breaker's going to do.
The same way, like they hate. I like how 3-minute chart looks, but oh man.
So there was really no A+ setup today. Like there was literally, I would say this was a good setup here, but the liquidity was only right here. So it was only like about like 30 points. And I say this was the best play. It's just you have to be a little advanced, right? Kind of to catch this play. Because it happened quick. It happened literally at market open. We got the sweep, we got the runaway. We got everything needed here. I just was being too patient here, which is my fault. This is my fault right here. I was being too patient on this one. Look how it touched it. It touched it perfect. Look at that shit. Closed, came back down, boop, ran away. And because I was like, you know what, I didn't want to get a late entry, it made me forgive it. It may come back down, but it never did. So this was the best play of the day that I didn't catch, which is okay. And then the second one, which was kind of a decent play, but like I said, the liquidity was only right here, right? So it was only like 30 points. So, but anyways, that's the finish for today. So unfortunately, we couldn't get a great win, but hopefully y'all learn some stuff. It's all about learning, right? It's all about learning and getting better. So I appreciate y'all for tuning in, and I'll be back again tomorrow at the same time. So catch y'all on the next one. Matter of fact, I'm gonna leave Tremaine up here.
Short.
Yeah, I'm gonna leave Tremaine on for a while, and I'm gonna switch screens
10:50 window.
right quick.
Kind of iffy about it because I'm looking at S&P. Dow kind of looks like a hot mess, to be honest with you. It's still at the low of its breaker. S&P is trying to work lower. I'm gonna see if I can get a run to sell side. This would be my only attempt at it because we're kind of late in the session. Using this fair value gap as my premise. Keeping my eye on the other indices. If it plays around, I may close it early, but I'm watching how we deliver inside of that SIBI. If we start approaching this high, then I might just close it for a partial loss. Let me see. S&P. The Dow. A little willy-nilly. I really like how we cleaned up the relative equal highs. If they want to make a higher high, then I'll accept the fact that I'm offside. But the fact that they cleared that up, I'm really seeing that as anybody looking to go break out long, they're trapped offside in that. So that's kind of the logic that I'm using. But I'm looking at ES to see if it can roll over underneath its 1047 low. And if it can do that, that'll be good. Dollar index is more or less just stalling. It hasn't been able to reach its sell side, and it's hanging around midpoint of its daily fair value gap. And we're also inside of that 1050 to 1110 macro. So that time window when you can already expect a retracement or reversal. So I like how we're inside of that interval. And if we manage to trade underneath that low, I'm observing at the speed at which we managed to do that. Lower that stop a little bit. Try to keep risk around 500 or less. So kind of what we talked about towards the end of yesterday's stream. Should we trade beneath that low? I don't want it to just be a shallow wick, or else that would be problematic. In other words, you'll always see me type things like so I trimmed off about $100 of risk. S&P and Dow is really got me questioning.
She back in there did. I ain't gonna lie though. He in a short right now. The short don't look bad. We got a sweep. Hold on, let me chart it up right quick.
I think I'm gonna submit to this one because
we add the macro.
I like the time of day and dollar index.
Create change
still failing to work lower. I normally don't like to short when dollar's looking bearish, but dollar has shown a
and it's double lows at a month. So it's inside that inverse fair value gap. Shit, my shit. All right, it's inside this inverse fair value gap. We got a little small internal here. The lows look sweet. We do got double lows nicely right here. But yeah, I gotta get ready to go to work. So I'll catch y'all on the flip side. He said I want the short. Hey, do your third dizzy. It's just make sure stop loss above. It's a pretty decent short though, but I would like to see it. I gotta get ready for the work. I can't sit here and keep watching this shit. I'm gonna stay here forever. Hey, I'll catch y'all on the flip side tomorrow morning. Appreciate y'all for tuning in. Let's get it.